Welcome back, everyone. We've returned with the tiebreaker set of Sirenia versus Sovereign. We have once again Local Jesus on the killer, but this time we're playing Demogorgon. We're already seeing some scratch marks all the way on 10, which means Driver's trying to cross quite soon. We almost get caught off guard on this God Palette, but we sadly still make the drop. M2 is not going to connect, which reaches other tile. And I wonder what Local Jesus' game plan exactly is going to be. On Demo, you kind of have a couple of different game plans. Sometimes you see people just playing pallet shred simulator, just eating all the pallets and getting rid of the resources, which gives us a lot of free 2-taps later on in the game. Or you can see, right now we're seeing a couple nice mind games coming out, giving us our first hit onto Renato. He's just forced to drop Shack because he doesn't have anything like a life to safely make the window. Mind game on Shack. This is not what can happen. I feel like the survivors have not had time to really do gens that much yet. I mean, we are seeing them trying to stack this very important middle gen, which is part of the 4 gen on top, I believe. But Painris comes out. We're probably going to be able to apply Eruption as well. First, we're applying it on this gen on 4, which has a little bit of progress, but this is not the gen we should really be focused on right now, and I'm assuming Local Jesus realizes as well. Full tower, of course, is very standard practice to try to stack this first generator to get it out before the first chase ends. But when that doesn't happen, you're in a bit of a worse position, because it means you still have to keep pressuring this gen, but even when you do pop it, you still have that nasty free gen top. So if you get hooked in that, probably pretty much how demos get 4k1s. Other way, it's very difficult, because even though demo can have some strong chases, I believe DVDL classifies him as an S tier chase killer, like with some of the funny balancing. You roll out the multiple perks against demo, but I mean it's being showcased here. The God Rocks, they're, even though I think they are still safe, they're a lot less safe than they would be against any other killer. And Z is just slightly getting caught off guard. That's so unfortunate. We're getting our second hook onto the same survivor before we've even popped that generator on 9. Okay, shut up. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. But yeah, we popped the gen, but we instantly start another chase with Tori, who will be getting a pretty fast down, even though we still have both of the pallets here. That was a good job by Local Jesus. Yeah, we're just gonna kick this gen, even though it's barely progress. We might as well, because I don't think we're gonna be going much further. I think instead we're just gonna be setting up our tent and getting ready to go into this 3v1 at, well, a maximum of 3 generators remaining, because we see 2 survivors here. We see 1 survivor who's on 8, 9, getting ready to cross for the pull, and we of course had Tori here, who we kind of kicked off of this gen, and we know isn't doing anything either. So that means only 1 survivor on gens, which means when you only have 4 gens remaining, it's a good position to be in. It's Local Jesus' birthday right now. Ooh, we get the shred. We do still get the trade. That's very important. If we died here, it could have even been a 4k3, I think. But as long as Z able to last in case a bit longer, which hopefully is possible, because I was gonna say we have most resources still up, but we have some goofy, some skibidi RNG right here. We have a TL wall into the Burger King, and we're just forced to go edge map after we hit the cracker, because we don't have anything to run. That is very unfortunate. Of course, the pickup does come through on the dub. Hopefully, one of the survivors has some progress on the generator, but like too much progress. Yeah, so now we're into the 3v1 with barely any progress, with still 2 injured survivors, which means we're gonna have to try to get those injuries away first. We are resetting on the right now, but Local Jesus actually realizes someone else is doing the main gen. Try to interrupt that first. Yeah, Tori doesn't even have balance landing. This is a bit of a dangerous position to be in. I think without balance, we're just dead here. I'm not sure. But when you don't have balance, you have to realize you have to send it a lot sooner. Maybe when the killer was even breaking the wall, or maybe like before they're even running up the stairs, you kind of have to gamble. But you can't just wait for them to come upstairs, because we're sadly just dead, as displayed right here. Yeah, Local GS is not even going to be going towards Shack, even though they realized both survivors reset bottom just earlier. Realizes 1 survivor has to go for the pull quite early, so instead we're going to try to cut them off, breaking this door first, which makes this pallet a little bit less safe. Of course, this pallet It's not particularly mind gameable once the door's been broken, but it does mean that Survivor doesn't make a lot of difference. And our Demogorgon is zoning them towards this shady part of the map. We're now forced to kind of play 50s. Moon is losing it. Sadly not patient enough on the check spots, or maybe just lost the 50. The pull does come through though, but that does also mean Survivor has not really been on Jen's bottom side of the map, which means local Jesus is just going to be committing this chase, hopefully getting rid of some more... some more... I'm sorry, I can't. These mind games are just too funny. It's just standing still inside of the seawall. But I mean, hey, it's working. You can't argue with success. We get the down, and there was even a survivor here who was trying to go for the flashlight save, which is it's very unfortunate that we shined that flashlight, because now local Jesus knows exactly where our only healthy survivor is, which means we also know the one injured survivor is doing the bottom gen, and we are just going to be committing onto that since they might have some progress on the shack gen. And that is looking relatively progressed, which means we're just going to apply our eruption. We even have Bamboozle available to deal with that pesky shack window. But instead our survivor is trying to send it quite early. Sky Demo on your head though. Slightly lose the survivor, which gives them a little bit more distance. This pallet on 8 is actually still pre-dropped, so that gives another option to loop something, but instead we're just sending it as far away as possible. We're trying to go for the prediction shred, it doesn't work out. We've reached this pallet on 10. I feel like we could have hit that if we swung, but of course we can't look through walls, so we couldn't have been sure. Great mind game coming out here. We don't have the heartbeat reading available for Belly since we were in chase. That is quite unfortunate, and it will result in another hook. We are just wrapping up stages as we go, and that gen progress isn't going up fast enough. I feel like we might be looking at a 4K on potentially even multiple generators remaining, since Tori is already going on to the second stage. I mean, we probably have to pull her soon because local Jesus is pressuring this high progress gen again. But if we do unhook them early, that means just go back to that tunnel out whenever we want, and then we already get into the 2v1, which is great send by Dub. We've already gone all the way back to Shack, making the window. Just gonna be placing our portal, getting eruption. I'm not sure if local Jesus is even interested in chasing this. It doesn't look like we are, but yeah, once again, Dub just sending it. We're not really interested in staying in a location where we can't loop anyways, because I mean the pallets there are dropped. Oh, that's just barely not connecting. We saw Demo right in the bottom of her screen, so close to connecting with us. Okay. Okay. That was also a mind game. The survivor vaulted into us, but we instead just went back to TP because local Jesus does realize that this gen on Shack was very high progress, and if anyone got on it as soon as we left Shack, then they might have been close to popping it at some point already. But yeah, instead, this back and forth, like committing a survivor, not committing them, going back to gens, has given them enough time to at least pop the generator on main, which is quite important. Might mean we're popping at least one more gen here. I mean, have a pretty good 4-gen on bottom, but it's not the worst 4-gen. But yeah, all of that doesn't really matter when we found our Tori, which we talked about earlier. They can just go back to Tori whenever they find them and commit that chase. And getting that down secures the 2v1, which is gonna be quite difficult. We know our other survivor was popping main earlier, so there's not really just on these gens. I mean, yeah, the 2v1 you can never really do much. We have a lot of progress on one gen, but I doubt that that's gonna matter that much. We should probably just commit this chase. Slightly scary. Moon is stealthing on the top side of the map. We're ready to get on a different gen. It's just... They're actually getting ready for the Shack gen. They're instead just gonna gamble to at least pop one more generator, because if Moon had started the gen on 1 a bit longer ago, we would have had still a very good chase needed by Dub before we were able to pop it. And yeah, Jesus was actually expecting that to happen. I mean, Dub was... It looked like they were kind of baiting the chase bottom, which might be a bit of a double bait. Like, they're baiting the chase so that Moon can pop 1, but instead we're just sending it back to Shack, which local Jesus now finally realizes, and they're just waiting for this teleport timer. They can get back to that gen ASAP, but it's still regressing. I don't even know what's going on. I can't lie. I'm not entirely sure where we are now. Boone has made it back to 11. Maybe finally stealthing for that gen on 1, while Dub is the one to pressure gen on Shack. Is like this game plan. This is a little bit more safe. It means that, ooh, I was gonna say the survivor that's most likely to get chased is the one that's healthy, but instead suddenly catch Moon off guard in the top side of the map, which is gonna result in quite a fast chase. Eruption comes out. I believe didn't get a scream. The eruption did get called, so we are just gonna pick it up. But I still don't think Dub is gonna be able to pop this gen. I mean, as long as we have the teleport available to us close enough, yeah, we are just gonna be able to make it back to Shack. Slight spectator bug there, but that's fine. And it's close, but we actually just chose to pre-leave. Yeah, we can just follow the scratch marks now and probably head into our last chase of the trial, which is the beginning of what might look like a reverse sweep a little bit for Team Sovereign. I mean, we lost the first set quite heavily, but now to not only win the second set, which was your opponent's pick, and then put up such an insane killer performance, this is looking really good for the last trial. Now we're just seeing some classic demo-looking gameplay. We're not even interested in committing this chase. I mean, this is very smart. We make sure we teleport to Shack and get that hatch closed before we do anything crazy. Or we, camp it, I guess. Yeah, we might as well close it. Even though the gates... Oh wait, these are really bad gates. That's a gate all the way on 1, and a gate that's hidden behind Shack, so you can't even really look at it. So, possibility for Dub to get out of this gate, which, wait, where? Do we know? How do we know? Wait, oh, we can see the gate on 7. Wait, this is a really nice sightline we're holding. I almost didn't notice, but in the top right corner you can just barely see the lamp lights. So yeah, I think this is cooked. I think this is just a 4K2 with no escape. Even though the escape doesn't really matter since we're not working with the point system, it would still, of course, be nice to get one person out the gates. Yeah, no, Demo is paying attention. We did not leave our monitor to go get a snack. We're just getting into our last chase of the trial for real this time. Ooh, nice mind games on the short side of the pallet gym. Demo is a killer that is quite a lot shorter than other killers. So even though the short side is considered mostly safe against most killers, it can be really, really hard, and you need like almost perfect reaction time and perfect camera movement to be able to run it against a killer like the Demo. But anyways, that is a great... Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the final trial of Sovereign versus Sirenia. Sorry, the delay was slightly longer than expected. We had a couple of issues from one of the team's sides. We'll not be going in with any penalties since it was something out of their control. So instead, we're just gonna play with the very, very normal and attainable win condition of 4K free that Dub needs here. Which, yeah, that's gonna be fun to play for. I was gonna say, are these the crazy goated mind games again, or are we maybe having some problems with our mouse? I'm not completely sure, but we have started the first chase, almost landing a shred, even though we're kind of learning our controls again. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I actually realized someone's still stealthing on 11 though. This is most likely our balanced landing survivor, so Dub's not even interested in committing to them. Instead, we're getting our portals set up, which I'm not entirely sure we have the time to really be playing for this. Yeah, no survivor is on Shack yet. They're most likely going to be prioritizing these middle gens at the beginning of the game, especially since we have a kind of a 4-gen bottom. It's not the cleanest or the best 4-gen bottom, but it's still 4 generators on that side of the map, alongside our normal main 3-gen split. Yeah, we're I feel like we might still be having some technical issues, but Dub is gonna have to try and push through them. We do catch someone off guard a little bit here. That is not Sprint Burst either. We will be getting the hit, even though it looks a little bit funky. A nice first hit and a pallet out of the way. But for local Jesus, perfectly makes use of that distance he gets, and he can send it all the way to main, which is not a place we want to be going with the chase right now. Survivor gets caught off guard with that crazy sky demo. A bit of an inopportune double back here. Back pallet is being pre-dropped. They are just gonna chase a little bit more here. We have a pretty decent setup with this eye filler facing into the window. Pallet on 4 as well, I believe. No, wait. Pallet. And we have the pallet on 3, which we could make. Reset coming out in the meantime. And yeah, I mean, Survivors, it almost felt like they've been stealthing out the Corrupt because we did not have any progress on the bottom gens. But we have gotten rid of so many pallets, even though we don't really have any gen progress yet. Because, you know, it's not the worst position for a killer to be in. It's honestly a start that they might be happy with. Claudette, just thinking to themselves, if I stand still long enough, he won't see me. Trying to be part of the wall. Sadly not working out, though. And we're taking this hit kind of to a dead zoned area. I mean, yeah, all these pellets were dropped and broken already. And we might actually start seeing a bit of an issue, even though our Corrupt completely ran out before we got any real injuries or any real cases or downs. We got rid of almost all the pallets on the entire map, I believe. I'm not exactly sure which pallets are still standing. Maybe 1 or 2 God Rocks in the corners of the map, but yeah, if you want snowball potential, this is definitely how they get it. We maybe could start seeing some 2-taps coming out. Yeah, nice shred landing here. The Survivor does take distance to main though, which is, once again, not the place you want to be chasing on demo. Especially when the Survivor has that much distance. They can just run main for quite a bit longer, get at least 1 vault out of it. Because we are, of course, bamboozled. It does help us quite a bit with it, but also doesn't help us completely shut it down. Yeah, instead we're just running down some more pallets. Still 5 gens remaining, and Juani is getting close to the 2nd stage, so I feel like we need to secure that 2nd stage. But we're actually not securing it at all, and it turns out it's gonna work out. Survivors are just cranking gens in the corners of the map as Claudette goes to 2nd stage right now. It's quite unfortunate. That's not what you want to see. I mean, as long as we pop 2 more generators, we'll at least go into the Tycon, but we preferably really need to pop 3 more generators for the Survivor side, which very much possible, but Dub is getting... Ooh, I'm not sure about this unhook. I was gonna say Dub has quite a lot of options now that we let Kwani go 2nd, but yeah, now our best option is to take that tunnel out. I mean, we unhooked them right after they hit 2nd stage, which is something you usually want to refrain from, as it means go back whenever we want and get hopefully into this 3-1 quite early. The reset actually comes through on Shaq. That is quite important. And now maybe if we see some good pathing, we might even be able to reach this pallet, which it does look like we do. Bit of a whiff on the M2 there. Kwani did actually choose to greed the pallet, so would have been a hit. That's really unfortunate. Dub is choosing to leave this chase right now. Which, I mean, yeah, he's maybe too scared of the Survivors popping this gen on 8 as well, and they just did pop another gen on the top side of the map. Go for the window tech, which almost works out, but instead it's just going to give him a free injury to Dub. Realize, of course, there's 1 Survivor on 6 here. That was our tunnel out who we left just earlier. They are going to be head-on, maybe a bit of a sneaky play here. Might be able to catch the killer off guard, especially since we don't see any scratch marks anywhere. But Dub, he knows. He knows. He's such a knower. But we lose the 50 on the stunning standoff on the locker. That is insane game sense by Dub coming out, knowing that they're in the locker. Yeah, now Claudette has max distance. We should be able to hopefully reach something, but I'm saying that, but this top midfielder, or this midfielder was already dropped, and the only place we have to go to now is main, which we're not even choosing to take the hit to main. Instead, we're slightly zoned. We're forced to play this window. Still have the God pallet on 1, but right now what we really need is we need a hit tank. We need a survivor to come help us so we can reach that main building. But no, instead we're just going to be forcing the locker going down for the last time. And that is bringing us to the 3v1, but survivors are doing so well on the gens. We see right now 3 different survivors on 3 different gens, all with quite high progress. There's no pain rest to worry about. There was only eruption to worry about, which we sadly did not react to in time. But I don't think it matters. I think we will still be able to pop this gen on 8, which is at least securing the Tycon very well. And now any generator that pops will be the win for Team Sovereign, actually. Yeah, sadly, Rez, by popping this gen, does get put in a difficult situation. We're kind of caught off guard, especially with BAM. We're not even able to play 50s on this Ormond window, which can sometimes buy some extra time, but instead we're just dropping to the floor. Securing another painters for Dub. Hopefully, finds the right generators to apply eruption to right now. Yeah, we do get to 4. This is bottom mid filler. This gen is quite high progress, so we're of course just applying eruption on it, but I don't think we're fully aware that the survivors were just splitting gens all this time, and we don't go to main, which I believe is just gonna mean Dwight will most likely pop that gen no matter what happens at this point in the game. We could try to commit Alaska for another pain res here, but we haven't even started the chase, and the gen's already been popped. Alaska giving a little bit of a smooch to the Demogorgon as they get the win. Not only for this set, but for the entire match. That is a 2-1 victory. Quite unfortunate, but a hard-fought, well-fought, and long-fought victory. We've been in this best of 3 for quite some time now. But of course that happens. We have some technical difficulties and maybe some slight miscommunications on setting up lobbies. That is all okay. And right now we are just sending it to the edge map. We have a Z-wall, which that was such a delayed vault. I don't know if that was a ping spike or something, but that looked quite funny. So we will not be getting the sneaky medium vault in on the Z-wall. Instead getting another pain rest for Dub. It should hit that gen on 4. I don't think the survivors have had time to do any other gens in the meantime. Or not for any high progress at least. Yeah, it does seem Dwight was working that gen on 4. Killer gonna be trying to interrupt as he... have any scratch marks actually onto the Dwight. So yeah, they're just gonna be going for the pull. They can get it for free anytime they want. We do see them from across the mid-map, which is a very open field, so we of course see any rotations there. But we still have the main building, which offers us a lot of safety. We're even just going to be playing our BL while we still have max distance. Yeah, I don't think White is going to be going down anytime soon. We only need around 40 to 50 more seconds for Renato to pop this generator. I think, yeah, that's exactly what Dove is scared for right now. We're instead going back to the bottom side of the map. We sadly don't have any good portals placed around here. We only have this portal on 4, which we can teleport to, which is still a small hike towards these other gens on the bottom side. I feel like this is definitely a free gen that is playable in the 3v1, but it's also very, very difficult for the survivors. I mean, the gens are quite close together, even though the mid-gen does offer you enough potential to hopefully reach the top side of the map if the killer ever commits to you. But especially with all of the pallets gone already, it's going to be quite difficult to break this. The only chance to really have is making sure Dub commits his chase top, and hopefully maybe getting either a stack or just a sneaky gen work in the meantime. So we do have Eruption applied on that generator, but we still have quite a few resources on this top side of the map, actually. Main failures weren't dropped yet. Yeah, Dub is scared that the survivors could just be stacking it and popping it at any point in the game, which we're definitely close to. I do believe that was... No, that was only one survivor. The other survivor was actually staying top to get ready for another reset. While we slowly get progress. Missing the 2 here, quite unfortunate. I feel like the demo shred is always a bit of a 50. Either survivor dodges or they don't dodge. Either hits a hit or you don't hit. But yeah, after 2 filled and 2s, we do just get the safe M1. And Rez is kind of stuck playing very unsafe tiles. Which, I mean, we're not even playing the unsafe tile. We're instead just going to the best tile in the game. I was always going to call it an even worse tile, but I'm sorry. I did not disrespect my zero like that. I think that's just way too much disrespect on its name. Yeah, Res going down once again. Generator is being stacked. We don't have a pain res available since Res was already hooked before. An extra long animation on digging that tunnel. The diggy hole, whatever. I don't know. This game is honestly taking a lot longer than expected. I feel like Survivors are just doing well. They're holding on to the pressure they have, and they're probably gonna be able to pop this last generator as well. Dub does still have one pain res available, which is something we need quite soon. I mean, this pain res is pretty much our only saving grace, but instead we're just heading to the top side of the map. That means this generator is almost assuredly gonna pop, even though this chase might buy a bit of extra time, especially with balanced landing available on this hill. I mean, that generator is just too high progress, and Eruption alone isn't gonna cut it. We actually still have this pallet available. I think also caught Dub slightly off guard running into it. So yeah, we're just forced to go back. Gen was so close to popping already. And we pop it either way. No adrenaline into play, but it shouldn't matter. There should still be at least one survivor out of the gates. There goes, I believe, maybe our last pallet of the entire game. I can't think of any other pallets still standing. So yeah, survivors have done a good job making sure they're using all of their resources, getting the best time waste. Yeah, see the last survivors running to the gates here, which is finally the ending of this best of 3. But here, guys, that is not the end for today.